Hey everybody, the Bong is here for today's inaugural Q&A session that I'll be doing these weekly, and I've taken a look at all your comments from the previous video that I put up, and I see like a whole bunch of questions, so thank you all for your involvement in this little Q&A session. If you have any other questions, or maybe you haven't asked a question on the previous video, you're free to do so in this video in the comments, and I'll be sure to look at every single one of them, so let's get started. Henry Martinez says, first off, I'm a fan of your work, thank you. And what do you use to record the gameplay? Well, I use a myriad of different things to record my gameplay. For some of the classic consoles that I do through like emulation, I use Camtasia. And for N64 and PlayStation, I use Fraps because they're a little bit more graphic intensive. As for my actual consoles, like my Wii and my PS2, well, first off, my Wii can still do GameCube games, thankfully. Yeah, it's one of those old school Wiis. I use a Dazzle, even though it has a reputation of not being that graphically reliable. It has its issues with skipped frames, but that's how technology works. Not all technology, it's just that the Dazzle, well, a pretty cost-efficient method of recording from your TV or your consoles, has a bit of its drawbacks. Once I get more money, I might consider upgrading to something a little bit better, but for now I'm going to stick to what I have because it actually works. Oh, another thing, like a screen recording software that I use for PC games would be Bandicam, and you can get that for like $50, I believe. If you're not sure about spending some money on that, I mean, get the test version. Yeah, you're going to have that watermark. But trust me, Bandicam is pretty awesome. And it just works so well for PC gaming. Shaggy Man says, what do you find most satisfying in doing LPs? Well, I can't really narrow it down to one thing. I would have to narrow it down to a lot of things. First of all, I'm playing games I've never heard of, and a lot of you guys actually sent me some pretty strange ideas for games. Like some of them, AAA titles, as you would expect. While others are games I just haven't heard of, some of which are actually Japanese only, and there are translation patches available online, so I try them out, and I'm like, wow, this game's actually weird, but interesting. And everyone knows my style of commentary, that I just find random quips and just poke fun at them, so that's why they pick the funniest games. Other things are games that I normally play but never get around to finishing, so because I'm Let's Playing them, I have a reason to finish them. Unless it's Superman 64, I'm not going to go finish that game again. I fell through the damn floor. You think a game is worth Let's Playing after that? No, it's just not, okay? I don't want to sit myself through that kind of experience again, where I can get screwed out of the game just by the game itself being terribly unpolished. Patros 2006 says, are you excited about the WWE Network coming to Canada? Well, at least it's not going to be $9.99 per month. Imagine if it is after that free trial period expires. But it's going to be good that it's actually a channel. Thankfully, I do have Rogers. Can't believe some people are actually hearing me say that. But yeah, it's actually coming on channel 512 if you're a Rogers subscriber. You get a trial period starting on August the 12th, which is actually 2 days from now by the time this video is up. So I wonder how it's actually going to look. Hopefully it doesn't have any of the buffering issues that the US version has. There's been a lot of instability going on with the WWE Network in the States. People thinking, oh, WWE will not lose so much money if they have the WWE Network worldwide. Well, yes and no. Yes, you would have a lot more subscribers because the fan base in Canada, the UK, or other various parts of Europe like Japan or even Australia or other parts of Europe, their fan base is quite high. No, because a lot more content providers, or service providers rather, will be dropping pay-per-views because the WWE Network is providing them for a lot lower rate. Thus, they'd be losing a lot more pay-per-view revenue from those service providers. So there's a little bit of a balance factor they would have to consider, as well as a technical factor, because if they're having a lot of server issues in the States, they have to build up like a lot of servers to, mitigate if you bring the WWE network to a lot more countries across the world. So there's a lot of planning involved to actually get that efficiently. But I'll give the network a try in Canada, and if it's something that I really like, then I'll consider subscribing to it and adding it to my cable package. And if I don't, I don't. Well, it happens. Kamikaze Black says, which consoles would you like to see more LP requests for, if there are any at all? Well, it doesn't really matter the console, just as long as I'm actually able to do it. Like, don't send me any Virtual Boy Let's Plays. I probably won't be able to do them because it's a bit finicky. Anything that I've already done, like, the NES, the Super Nintendo, the PlayStation, Sega, PlayStation 2, Wii, GameCube, etc., that I'm actually able to do. As for like DS or 3DS, that's a bit finicky for now, but my friend Ryan Bragg got a 3DS capture card that he's still working out in terms of testing, and he said that me, him, Cole, and Colette NL180 can actually start using that capture card for our own Let's Plays. If we get the testing going around clearly, then DS and 3DS games are on the table as well. Don't put them all out at once, I want to test them out first. Bull Lightning A says, what kind of controller do you use for GBA games? Well, this one. Here, I'll show you. This little Logitech wireless controller, I was going to get a wired one. However, the store that I went to, the Source by Circuit City, did not have any at the time, so I had to settle for getting a wireless one, which was much more expensive, and does require batteries. Thankfully, I got rechargeable ones, because my wired controller, for some reason, the buttons would not work, because I dropped it by accident. And it sometimes happens. I mean, I'm Let's Play on my bed, ladies, and sometimes the controller falls on the floor. It's not a hardwood floor, thankfully. It is carpet, but it's not a soft carpet, like a very thin one. Therefore, anything that falls could take a bit of damage internally. My cell phone has fell on the floor many times, and it's fine, but the controller obviously cannot handle it as much. So, there's that. That's a little bit more convenient in terms of like not having any cables on the right side of my laptop. However, some PC games on Steam don't pick up the controller, so I have to use like a Joy-to-Pad emulator. Mount Your Friends is one such game, as is Nuclear Throne for some weird reason. That even though my controller is connected, won't pick it up. Maybe there's a patch for it, or maybe I just don't have the latest version. Who knows? Colonel112 says, what do you think is your best LP since you started LPing in 2008? Personally, I think my best Let's Play would probably be Final Fantasy VI Advance, because I have an emotional connection to that game. Before Dynasty Warriors 4, Final Fantasy VI Advance was my longest episodic Let's Play that I've ever did, like 94 episodes. I was really involved with it because when I first played that game when I was like 12 or 13 years old, I was hooked on that game. And I figured I'm not going to Let's Play it right away. I want to wait till I get the first five Final Fantasies out of the way, and when I feel ready, do that game, and needless to say, it did not disappoint in terms of replaying it again. And I was just happy to share it with you guys. Like, all my memories were just coming back to life when I was doing that game. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time would definitely be another one of those things. However, that was around the period that I was just uploading as much as possible. Like sometimes a maximum of 10 videos a day, and people just would not be able to catch up to them. There are some Ocarina of Time videos that are still very popular, like the one where I pick up Princess Ruto. Apparently that one has like the largest amount of views of my Ocarina of Time videos compared to the other 71. But I guess some people have their preferences. Maybe I have a fan base that has a niche of picking up Zoros on top of their heads and just calling them random names. Usually insulting. Alright. DemiSneed says, play Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne or I will poop in your mouth. I really should not have made a reference that one time I got a Skyward Sword reference on Weebly, and I just opened up a whole can of crap, or worms. No, but seriously, any TV shows you're currently watching and would like to recommend others. I'd personally recommend Rick and Morty. It's an Adult Swim show and probably the best new American cartoon of the past decade. You absolutely must check it out if you haven't yet. Well, that's not actually my answer, that's the rest of his comment. Well, TV shows I'm currently watching, sometimes I'll watch WWE Raw. If you're a wrestling fan, then, well, obviously you're watching Raw anyway. But outside of Raw, I do like watching MasterChef. I don't know why, but I do have a fascination for cooking shows, especially ones that, they're not all that great and you just like to hear the insults or prop up your own self-esteem if you feel like you're a terrible cook yourself. It's like, well, at least I never did that. Other shows I like to watch, well, right now the latest season is over, but I love watching Vikings. If it comes back on for a season 3, and I'm sure it will, I definitely recommend that if you're into that kind of culture around the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages, etc., etc. I was always big on medieval type culture, mythological culture, historical culture, anything like that. I'm definitely into. I used to be into The Simpsons or Family Guy, but I feel like their flicker of comedy has just drawn out, in my opinion. David Edwards says, just subscribe, thank you. If Dynasty Warriors 4 had an online multiplayer mode, would have a live screen with subscribes? And who is your favorite character and weapon in Dynasty Warriors 4? I don't know if I'd have a Dynasty Warriors 4 online multiplayer mode. If anything, I would much prefer Dynasty Warriors 8 multiplayer online mode. Be a little bit more flexible in terms of a 2-player co-op. Why not have 2 players go against each other and see who would have the best side? I mean, you're just going to have people spamming Usos against each other, but it still would be pretty fun from a strategic standpoint. Or maybe have more people at once going on different sides, or even on the same side, and just put a little bit of tactical strategy involved. As for a live stream, I'm kind of leaning against that still for now, because I still need, you gotta have, a lot of time invested into streaming, and with the whole Twitch drama, some people are still very knee-jerk about it, and I can understand why. Well, there's always Hitbox, but, again, I'm rather wait. As for a favorite character, I still like Xiahou of Wei. And from the Shu side, I'd go with Guan Yu or possibly Zhao Yun of Shu, because they have very good long-range weapons and they're fast. Well, they're not fast weapons, but they cover a lot of range and are very powerful. As for my favorite weapon to use, probably Jotai's katana or curved sword, because it's very good on horseback and it has a lot of range and quick attacks on the ground. So if anything, I like the curved sword weapon a lot because of it. I'm not into strong weapons. I'm more into fast and long range weapons. That's just usually who I am. Alright, Vestalence Naina says, ever heard of the Angry Video Game Nerd? And if so, what do you think of his accomplishments and his movie? Brackets, haven't seen it myself, waiting for the DVD or digital release. Oh, well, I've obviously heard of the Angry Video Game Nerd. I'm probably one of the majority that like his older work as opposed to his newer work, because it was his older work that put him on the map. As for his accomplishments in his movie, I don't really follow him that much, but definitely congratulating him on that. I mean, if you can just record yourself playing video games, drinking beer, and then getting angry at the most insidious stuff, and get a fan base from that, I mean, that's pretty awesome. As for his movie, I probably would not check it out. I'm not that big of a movie person, but a lot of people that would, or play the Angry Video Game Nerd game that's available on PC, maybe available on PS3 as well, I'm not 100% sure. I definitely wish him the best in his future endeavors. He's definitely going to be a household name for sure, if he isn't already. Well, actually, he is quite looking forward to a lot of success, and he should be. Sephiroth1204 says, I suck at finding stuff to ask, but I look forward to the QA videos. Okay, well, I guess that doesn't really count as a question. Let's move on. Anime Manga Gamer said, what were your thoughts when Sting made his first appearance at a WWE event, which is San Diego Comic-Con 2014? You mean that wasn't a Sting cosplayer? Oh, okay. I think that's pretty interesting that Sting made his first appearance at a WWE event, but it would be at a Comic-Con. I would much rather its first appearance just suddenly be in a WWE ring, whether it be cutting a promo on someone like Triple H, John Cena, or even Hulk Hogan. Like, tonight, on Monday on Raw, it's going to be Hulk Hogan's birthday celebration. So why not have Sting show up for that, as opposed to like that little vignette when Sting shows up as being available on WWE 2K15. Everybody's cheering. Available for pre-order. Boom. Yeah, like the fans just went from frosted mini wheats to unfrosted mini wheats during that whole segment after finding out that he's only available through pre-order. I mean, yeah, you get two versions of Sting, which is pretty awesome. However, they were kind of hoping for a little bit more, like, say, Sting will make his appearance in a ring next week. Probably to cut a promo. I would not want him in a match. Like, I mean, come on. His prime has ended years ago. Just let it go. Taju22 says, what are your thoughts on new Let's Players trying to make a name for themselves? I don't know why he's got new capitalized, but anyways, I'm not here to judge English unless it's terribly bad. Anyways, new Let's Players trying to make a name for themselves. I wish them the best of luck. The Let's Play field is quite saturated as it is, so for a new Let's Player, it's going to be even harder to get their foot in the door. And let's face it, your first stuff is going to be bad. You got to be your own critic for this. I mean, just show your friends, saying like, hey, would this be good for the internet? And if they say no, well, go back to the drawing board, maybe get some new equipment, try a new commentary style that you're more comfortable with rather than being a tryhard. Anytime you're a tryhard, like trying to force humor, you're going to be noticed as fake right away. Nobody's going to watch your stuff. Unless your fan base is going to be just as fake, then you can try that, but it's going to fizzle out rather quickly. So find yourself in a comfortable zone, find some games that you're familiar with, just immerse yourself in the game and your audience, and you'll do just fine. It'll take some while to get a fan base, but it took me a while to get my fan base as well. So just be patient, and you will get there in no time at all. Paul Province says, what's your least favorite LP and your favorite LP? My least favorite would probably be, there's quite a few. But one of them would be Contra for the NES. Like, even though I used the Konami code, I was still using save states. And I was using, like, a lot of male phallic references in the last level. Because that's what the top of the cave was pretty much like. Or was that Super C I was making those references? Either way, like, if I had my time back, I would probably do that a little bit differently. Try not to suck so much and not save state at all. I mean, I had the Konami code for 30 lives. What did I need it for? That was around the time that I was save stating in pretty much every phase, even during the intro of Donkey Kong Country before the game started. Don't ask, I was in a bad, stupid phase at the time. My favorite LP, again, would be Final Fantasy VI Advance. I already reiterated that. So let's just get on to the next question. Matt Chiskawiak says, what are you looking forward to most in new Smash Brothers games? Well, other than the roster, just being able to have a more fluent online as opposed to what Brawl had. I liked Brawl's online system, but it did lag quite a bit. I'm hoping Smash Bros. Wii U or Smash Bros. 3DS will have a much better online connectivity as opposed to the predecessor. Character roster would be good. I'm looking forward to the one-player adventure mode. Well, there might be some multiplayer elements involved, because usually the adventure mode is pretty cool. The All-Star mode will also be good. I'm just hoping that the gameplay itself, like the item roster, the final smashes, the assist trophies, will just be quite fun, as the Smash Bros. Games usually are. Ryan Bragg says, what is a game or series you have never LP'd that you would like to do, and why? I would give the Digimon World series a try because, well, there's a lot of Digimon games, or, well, Digimon World games, And it's kind of similar to Pokemon or Mega Man Battle Network that you just gotta like build up your own team from there. And, there are a lot of Digimon fans. I'm pretty sure that as soon as I make a mistake, they will shit on me over it, but that's usually the risk you take when you're a Let's Player to begin with. So that'll be fun. Tom2639 says, what does Newfie mean, and how did you come up with it? Well, I am from Newfoundland, so like the slang for Newfoundlander is Newfies, or short term for it. And Bonga would be a race in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and Final Fantasy XII. And at the time I came up with that name in 2008, I was really into Final Fantasy XII. Even though some people did not like that game, I actually did. So I was thinking, why not just connect the two together at random, see how it works, and needless to say, it actually did. Even though some people still pronounce my name as Banga, well, then again, I pronounce it pretty wrong. Until I've had some people correct me on that one, and now I pronounce it correctly. Banga is not really a familiar or common name you would hear, so I'm not surprised that people pronounce it wrong. So sometimes I am my own worst enemy because I don't correct people as much. And I really should be doing that more often. Alright, Suka Kageno Knight actually wants to be preferred Knight, by the way, because it'd be a lot easier. Mouth pooping is classy as shit. Never mind. Okay. What time machine would you rather have? The TARDIS, the DeLorean, or Bill and Ted's phone booth? I'd probably go with the TARDIS because British women, people love British stuff, especially the women, and I'd probably get a lot more poontang. Attention. A lot more womanly attention. Just here 211 says, hey Newfie Bana, really channel what think Beyonce. Is English your sixth language or something? Really nice channel? Really channel? Do you mean really good channel? Or really strange channel? Like, there's no adjective there. I don't know what exactly you mean. What do I think of Beyonce? She's okay, I guess. Congratulations on your success. I just kind of wish that she wouldn't get so anal about that one Super Bowl photo that made her look like a man. But I digress, I guess. Laura H says, have you considered redoing some of your old LPs? The technical quality of your LPs, not to mention your commentary, has grown quite a lot in the last several years. Well, there are some I'd like to reconsider, like maybe the old Donkey Kong Country series, maybe like my old Mega Man Let's Plays, like Mega Man's 1 through 6 have grown. There are others that I could think of, but not a lot of them at once. Like, I don't want to be going back to, like, Let's Replaying all the time, because a lot of people rather see new games as opposed to what I've done before. Darklit Zelda 543 says, I noticed you do a lot of Super Mario World ROM hacks. Have you ever considered branching off to other genres of ROM hacks? Well, kinda, but I feel that Super Mario World ROM hacks are a lot more commonplace and a little bit easier to get around if there are some glitches. However, I have done some Mega Man hacks before, like usually Mega Man 2 hacks. They're known for being extremely difficult, and I've done a Mega Man 5 and 6 hack before. I would like to do more hacks on Mega Man games. Zelda games, I'm kinda iffy about because, Zelda hacks tend to have like a lot of graphical errors or glitches going on. The original Super Mario Brothers I would do if I can get a Super Mario Brothers 3 hack to work, because usually they're very temperamental for some strange reason. I would do that. Final Fantasy ROM hacks or RPG ROM hacks, I'm definitely against because, it would just take a lot of work to do them, and they're usually games I've already done. And most of them are just trying to cater to like the brony fan base, so now you're seeing ROM hacks based on ponies. That's okay, that's just not for me. Torax711 says, what game in your opinion is better, Skyrim or Fallout 3? Well, actually he spelled it as Skirim. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a sandbox RPG for skiers, maybe? But I usually prefer Skyrim because, again, I'm into that kind of medieval setting. Even though I've had some issues with quests breaking on me over the most insidious stuff. Like, just hitting an enemy and one of your quest characters just gets in the way and she's mad at you forever. Like, woman, let it go. I did not mean to shoot that arrow at you. I swear I tried to hit that Hagraven. God. And will you see TMNT? Well, actually, he put well instead of will, but I'm not that big on movies, so I probably won't. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. I think the last movie I saw in theaters was, I think it was Fast and Furious 6. I believe in a future video I'll say like Jackass was the last movie I saw in theaters. That's actually wrong. It was Fast and Furious 6. It was okay, I guess. And Matthew Preus, I don't know if I'm saying your last name right, says, when will you do Twilight Princess? When I hit 14,000 subscribers, which actually at this point I'm not that far off. Probably within a couple of weeks or so I'll get there. Or if YouTube does another sub wipe, it'll take maybe 3 or 4 months. Who knows? And anyways, that's all the questions I have for today. If you have any other questions, again, put them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. So, see you later everyone. Thanks for watching.